Hello.
Hey.
Yes. Welcome to the Ladies Lounge. I am the Candy Shop.
Hi, I'm Khadi B.
Hey everybody, I'm your girl Candy Washington.
And this is the Ladies Lounge where we give our three different perspectives on trending topics. I hope everybody is doing well out there. I want to acknowledge some of these comments before we get started. So the Queen of Cheesecake, one of my favorite mods, she says, welcome to the Candy Shop. Hi, everybody. Please hit that like button and subscribe. I put all of our channels in the description, so please make sure you subscribe to all of us. And Candy, earlier today, she's so excited. Khadi B is excited. Hey, Young Rich.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Brownie Brown. And Precious Pisces 69. Evangelist Val, they're coming in. Sharon.
Hey, everybody.
Yes.
Hey, Candy Cane.
Yes, and Sugar Babies.
Sugar Babies.
Samaya. Hey, Samaya. Reparations. Amused. And I think, Chi-Town Naja Girl.
Hey, girl.
Yes. Ibad Rashid. And yes, and Nicki Merst. Am I saying that right? Merced or Merst? I hope I'm saying that correctly. But let's get into it, ladies. So first off, how are you ladies doing? How was your weekend? What's been up?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been like really relaxing and everything. The people know I've been in New York on a vacation, so when I got back, I've been like real chill and sleeping and everything. So been pretty relaxed.
That's good.
I almost died of a spider bite this weekend. So I thought I was sick. I thought I just caught a cold. I just wasn't feeling good. I was like, God, don't let this be Delta, please. This eye got really just like swollen and just big. My lip nodes were swollen. I was all phlegmy. My head was hurting. I looked down at my neck and I realized I was bit by a spider. So if you can see right here is the spider injection, and then it welted up. And so it was from the venom of the spider that was making me sick.
Oh my
goodness. You guys are looking at a walking miracle, because it was touch and go, guys. It was touch and go. No, I'm kidding. But it was really scary. Okay. But it was really scary. We're okay. We're okay. And I'm spraying my entire house. Everything's getting sprayed down. So I survived it. Spider woman over here.
Yeah, because of that, the spider came to me and bit me, and now I sound like this. But no,
well, y'all come this way.
You caught it. You caught it. You caught it.
I don't want any
smoke. You know I don't want any smoke. I'm the most like.
But no, my weekend was good. Despite being sick, I had a really good weekend. Spent some time with my kids. Got to meet with these beautiful ladies, and so I'm excited to get this show going. So the first topic is Karen Civil. She's been trending a lot in the YouTube streets and media in general. I didn't know who she was. I had to look it up. So Karen Civil is a marketing strategist. She initially got her start with Lil Wayne and his company. While he was in prison, she started a website for him, I guess Letters to Wayne or something like that. I don't know. It was a website where people could communicate with him. And then she was responsible for helping to jumpstart the Beats by Dre. And then she also worked with the late Nipsey Hussle in the marathon. And so now she is currently in the news for stealing people's money. So what are y'all thoughts on that? And allegedly she has a close relationship with Nicki Minaj and does her dirty work, according to Jason Lee. Allegedly, though. I'm going to put my allegedly banner up.
Yes. The story just kept going on and on. Like after one person came out, somebody else came out with a story. I guess allegedly she is stolen 60 grand from a lot of different celebrities. It's always the same exact amount of money, like $60,000. Like that's her go-to amount. I think it was DJ Academics who actually said that there was a video of Meek Mills beating up on a female, and Karen Civil hid that video for him.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yes.
That is crazy. She sounds kind of shady. Now I'm gonna say this, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you talk, Kenny, in a second.
No, it's okay.
But in looking at her, when you see her pictures, she looks so poised and like when it's so put together. And then when I've seen her talk, I hear the New York accent. She does sound kind of rough around the edges, and she sounds like a scammer. I'm not gonna lie. Like even as she said, all Karens ain't white.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So I think it's very unfortunate. I would hope that, like Jason Lee said, I hope she's not damaging our culture, because he said she's not good for the culture. So, Candy, what are your thoughts?
Well, I definitely agree. All Karens aren't white. Everybody in the mafia is not Italian. You know what I'm saying? To me, she just sounds like the black girl version of a Bernie Madoff or a Tom Girardi or a Jen Shaw. They're just running these Ponzi schemes on people, robbing Peter to pay Paul, lying, stealing from clients, allegedly all of these things. I also think it's hard because I think a part of what she did was legit. Yeah. Like the whole like WheezyThanksYou.com, and she got, you know, the letters to Weezy out from jail, you know, working with Nipsey Hussle, you know, working with Beats by Dre. So she kind of had this front where she was protected by the actual brands and the celebrities that she worked with, like a Nicki Minaj. But then behind the scenes, she was stealing from the people who may not have enough money, enough clout to push back. So she knew who to steal from, and she knew who to protect. Because if she's protecting a Nicki, if she's protecting a Meek, they're going to turn around and protect her. And that's what happened with Jason Lee. Like, well, it's not even alleged, but I'll say alleged. Mm-hmm. She had gotten his Instagram taken down back in like 2018, around there, because he had posted something. I forgot who he posted about, probably about Nicki.
It was Nicki.
Posted something about her. She was like, "Can you take this down?" He was like, "No, I can't." And she hired this young guy who was like an up and coming musician or rapper or whatever, and was like, "Oh, I'll put you on if you hack into his account and get it taken down." And the kid did it for $20,000. Mm-hmm. So what Jason Lee said, well, the reason why Nicki Minaj is now hitting him up and saying, don't take this to the lawyers, don't do the lawsuit, is because they have a thing called discovery. So if they go into discovery, they're going to go into, where did she get that $20,000 from? Who paid that? Did it come from Nicki's pocket? That's a part of extortion. That's part of racketeering. You know, where is she getting her money from? What is she doing to the IRS? What is she hiding for all of her clients? Like what Khadi said, the video of Meek Mills hitting a woman, all of that will come out and it will be all investigated. And that's why they don't want it to elevate to this. But I do want it to come out. Yeah. Because if she has been exploiting people and stealing from people, it needs to come out. And the one thing I don't like, the one narrative I don't want out there, what Jason was saying, like, oh, she's bad for the culture. No, just because one Black woman did some bad things should not be reflective of all Black women in the culture. Bernie Madoff did everything. Madoff with millions and millions of dollars did a whole Ponzi scheme. No one said, oh, well, he's bad for white privilege. He's bad for white collar. You know, he's bad for Wall Street. He's bad for investment banking. No, it was just Bernie Madoff did some schemy stuff. So we have to stop over identifying everything with color and with gender, because one Black person doing something is not indicative of an entire culture of people. And we need to take that off of our shoulders and off of our burdens. We're allowed to be individual people. And that's kind of what I feel on that.
Yes, that's very true. It's also another form of a way to oppress us still, because we are always seen as a collective and not as individuals. Mm-hmm. So that's why it really bothers me when people say, you know, as Black women, we need to do better. No, stop that narrative, because you don't hear white people say, you know, as white women, we know.
Exactly.
So I want to go back to what Shantae said. She said, y'all go back to when she first started. She was hired at a job by faking the skills for the position via her words. And that's where she started the website for Lil Wayne, faking it. And even Rashid actually asked, how did she get so much pull in the beginning? So what do y'all think? Why do you think Lil Wayne and all of them gave her a chance? Anybody know that?
I don't know why Lil Wayne gave her a chance, but if she said that she was hired at her job by faking the skills for the position, maybe he hired a media company and she was one of the persons who was working for the company, or maybe he has his own team and she got hired on the team by faking it. And I want to say, when it comes to faking it, I do believe in one sense you have to fake it till you make it, as in, but I don't mean you have to fraud. Right. To me, there's a difference between faking it till you make it. Like, I'm going to believe in myself. Like, I'm going to know I'm wealthy, but maybe my bank account doesn't say it. I'm going to go in there really confident, even though I might not have all the experience. I'm going to still go for the job, even though it says I need 2 years, but I only have 1 year or whatever it is. Or you're going to walk into rooms, you're going to network, you're going to put yourself out there. So I believe in manifesting it and having confidence and putting yourself out there, faking it till you make it in that lane. But I think there's a difference when you are fraudulent. Right. If you are straight up lying, like you didn't go to this school, you didn't win this award, you don't have X, Y, and Z, you know, you're saying, give me 60K and I'll do all this for you. And then you take the 60K and you run with it, you know? So or hiring a hacker to take down somebody's site because they're not removing a post you don't like. So I think there's a difference between faking it until you make it to give yourself that internal confidence boost versus being a fraud. And I think that's what is really the question when it comes to Karen Civil. Was she just a go-getter? And she was just like, I don't care. I don't have this experience. I'm hungry. I have the drive. I'm going to make a way. I'm going to do this. I have a vision for my life. Let's go get it. And that's how she got into these circles? Or was she a liar and a fraud? And I think that's really what is the question when it comes to Karen Civil.
That's a good point, but let's go to the future. Was she really frauding? Because if she's hired as a marketing strategist and she's made the attempts to get to put these rappers on, and it just doesn't happen, did she really fraud them, or did she do her job and it just wasn't a result? So that's the real question. And so we have people like Joyner Lucas, I think that's his name, who paid her $60,000 to promote him, to, I guess, put him on, and it wasn't fast enough. From what I listened to, he wanted like a fast result, and she even said it wasn't going to happen overnight. Like, I never even heard of him. So that's the question. And I also want to say to the Black thing in the culture, I do feel like with what we do as Black women, we are scrutinized and we are expected to deliver like right off top. And the moment we don't, they just throw you away and try to make it seem like you represent the whole culture. And I know somebody said, is she Black American? She's Haitian American, I believe. But to me, she's still Black. So
she's Black.
Yeah. So there's a lot of comments, but go ahead, Khadi.
It makes me wonder about how she got started again, because if she is a scammer, chances are now I'm just thinking on my own, like no proof or anything. But if she is like a scammer, a lot of times these people will seek out the celebrities and they will follow them around and get dirt on them that she could have taken pictures or videos and had something on them and then used it as some form of leverage to get into. Like, hey, I have this, but I won't do anything if you help me get on, and then I'll do all this business, and then I'll maybe bury your competitor and this type of stuff. Now, this is just me off the top of my head. I didn't see anything about this, but I know a lot of times scammers do look for a way in, and that's a good way in.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. The Real Entertainment, he said Karen Civil did not rob Joyner for $60K. The music he had out at the time just did not pop.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I think that's right. Like, I think it's the question of, are you faking it till you make it in that sense versus are you being fraudulent? And then you have to take it on the micro level of actually like Karen herself, because I think sometimes people don't understand what a publicist does or what a marketing person does, and they want that overnight success. And they are like, why am I paying you if you're not getting me anything? Well, she can't make people like your stuff. She can't make blogs pick you up, or, you know, Us Weekly or People Magazine write about you, or the Jasmine brand. She can't make this stuff happen. She can pitch you to her job. So we have to see exactly what Candace said. Was she actually working on their behalf and it just didn't pop? Or was she kind of doing this, I'm going to, you know, front for the celebrities like the Meek Mills and all those people, deliver for them, hide their business, have that clout based on that, and then I can kind of wheel and deal with the no-name people like this Rob Joyner person nobody heard of. I can go to him and be like, hey, well, I did this for Meek Mills, I did this for Lil Wayne, here's what my retainer is, and kind of skim from that person. So we have to see how she actually moved. But it sounds like there's more than one person saying the same story. So that to me is kind of what is more indicative of she was kind of this cleanup handler person for the celebrities, but was kind of willing and dealing with the people that she thought she could get over on.
Yeah, that's true, because when you think back, she was successful with I guess Dr. Dre and Beats by Dre, Lil Wayne, and all of his people. Are they Young Money? Is that what they're called? Young Money?
Yeah.
Like that. And then Nipsey Hussle. So she's been a part of some lucrative marketing deals. And I can see why people would put their trust in her. And so it makes her, by her working with all those people, that validates her work ethic in her image. So I don't know if the smaller people, maybe it was harder for her to make the smaller people pop, because when you think about it, the larger people that she worked with were already famous. These smaller people are coming wanting her to make them famous. So it's a tricky situation. To be honest, in my opinion, I can't say if she's a scammer or not, because it's too much. I know there are a lot of smaller people coming out saying things, but we just won't know. But those are my final thoughts on it. But what
it does make me wonder, working with the big people, like you said, it's easier to get them out there, get their stuff successful. I'm wondering if she used these smaller no-name people, like if her retainer or whatever it is 60,000, and you're just taking 60,000 from everybody out there.
Yeah.
I mean, she may not actually have tried. It may just be like, I'm using this money in order to push the big celebrities.
Right.
Yeah.
That too. You make a good point right there.
Well, I don't think that she would use that money to push the big celebrities, because the big celebrities are paying her. I think that she would just take that money and just pocket it. Because if you remember what Jason Lee said, he was like, where did that 20K come from to hire the hacker? And he was alluding that 20K came from Nicki Minaj herself.
And about that, on Clubhouse, when Jason Lee was talking about how she hacked him to get his page shut down. She admitted it on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
So at least we do know something ain't right. Like we do know that. I don't know if she has done all of these things, but she did admit to hiring a hacker to basically take his page down.
And if that's illegal. Very illegal. And if that's your integrity, if that's what your moral compass is, it's not that big of a leap to scam other people out of money. If you're literally willing to hire a hacker and have somebody take down somebody's Instagram who had even if you had one follower, it's still somebody else's page. Yeah.
And it is crazy. The fact, but she allegedly she did it for Nicki Minaj, which I think is ridiculous. And the way that he found out is the hacker let him know that it happened. So it's crazy. But I don't have any more thoughts on that. I do want to talk about a certain somebody she was associated with, Nicki Minaj. So we can talk about that. So I am not a Barb, and I'm sorry, Barbs, if y'all get offended by this. But Nicki Minaj is very wrong. So we all know Jennifer Huff, the victim of her husband, was interviewed by the ladies on The Real. And so she talked about how she was harassed by Nicki Minaj. They offered her $20,000. She did not take it, and they said this would be put on your head. We also know that Nicki Minaj doxed her or put out her personal information, address, phone number, all of that on Twitter. So I feel I'm just shocked. I've never been a Barb, but I did like Nicki Minaj. But this just speaks a lot of volumes. Well, really, her marrying him spoke volumes to me as well. But what are y'all thoughts on this situation?
Well, definitely, I feel like, and I think I said this in one of your other lives, Candace.
Yes.
But I'm gonna keep it cuter. I don't know what type of person would marry someone who was guilty of the R word, just flat out. It tells you basically everything you need to know about that person. And not to mention the fact that her and him had this relationship back in the day when she was a child and he was not. Yeah, I'm not a Barb at all. I don't stand any celebrity because I don't care like that. I mean, honestly, I find the whole thing to be so ridiculous.
Well, I stand Beyonce, sorry.
But to me, every single last one of them look like a stranger, and I don't care that much about a bunch of strangers, honestly. And then it's like, what do they need from me? I mean, you rich, you ought to be standing me and giving me some money. I certainly ain't giving you money. You rich.
Yes.
Yes. But anyway, the fact that I hate to call her a victim, but she is now suing them and she has a lawyer and there's evidence behind the fact, Nicki called her. They sent her messages. A guy from her team actually showed up at her house, put money in her lap. It's not looking great at all for Nicki. I'll say that.
Yeah, I would say, unfortunately, a lot of people who have been victimized will then go and repeat that pattern of abuse. Mm-hmm. So if Nicki, and I'm not excusing her behavior, I am not a Barb, let me make that very clear. I am not excusing her behavior, but a lot of times when it comes to trauma or physical abuse, particularly sexual abuse, if you have been abused or exposed to it as a child, or you've seen it, or you've been the victim of it, you grow up to repeat that. So if she was with him when she was, young and underage, she probably identifies with that and doesn't even see it as wrong because we know her brother is a convicted pedophile. Mm-hmm. So clearly that was in her household growing up. Who knows what he may or may not have done to her. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying that's his sister. He's a pedophile. They're still really close. You just never family dynamics. She went on then to be a young girl dating a man. And then she grew up to marry that man who is also a R-word person.
Right.
So I think, and then also a lot of times when it comes to that, and I'm not going to say within the Black community because it's not true, within all communities, there is sort of this code of two things. One, silence. Yes. A lot of times children, female and male, will be abused and they say, don't say anything, be quiet, hush up, blah, 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 blah. They push it under the rug. So there is this code of silence when it comes to that. And then there's also victim blaming. Oh, well, what were you wearing? Well, Uncle so-and-so was like that. Why did you go off with him? Oh, well, why were you in a room with him alone? Like, they will, like, when it comes to any R-word victim, male or female, but particularly with females, because it happens so much more, right. They will, before blaming the man who did this, they will blame the victim, the girl, the child. Oh, you fast. Oh, you were wearing your hair like this. What, like you had your shorts up, blah, 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 blah. So there's just a culture of that within all races when it comes to this, of silence, shame, and victim blaming. However, that does not absolve Nicki Minaj for what she's doing. I think she needs to go to jail too. I think her husband needs to go to jail. And for all the barbs out there, don't come after me, but your little fake goddess needs to go to jail too. Because what she is doing is called witness tampering and intimidation. She's tampering with the witness, and she's intimidating her, saying, well, if you're not going to take this 20K, I'm going to put it on your head. Essentially saying, I'm going to put a hit out on your life. That is witness tampering and intimidation, and that is against the law. There is a reason why we tried to protect victims and witnesses that shouldn't be scared into silence or scared into not, telling their story or seeking legal action. Nicki Minaj needs to be thrown under the jail along with her brother and along with her husband. Just because you were a victim of abuse does not give you a free pass to go abuse others. Your abuse may not have been your fault. It was not your fault. If something has happened to you, it was not your fault. But healing, growing, going to therapy, working through everything is your responsibility for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, shout out to the lead attorney. He agreed.
Hey, the lead attorney.
So I definitely agree. I definitely agree with you. And I like the fact when you mentioned that a lot of times young women are groomed and then the shame is put on them. Because 100%. I said this before, no girl is fast enough for a man that likes children. So regardless of what these children do, what people need to realize, this is a child. An adult can control their behaviors. So I would never put the blame on a child. And I feel like Nicki was groomed. I like Samaya said, she does have some type of Stockholm syndrome, because it's crazy to me that she went back to him. Yes. She was 14, he was 21, he was out of prison. He had served the time from doing the R word or the attempted R word to the victim. And then he started dating Nicki, and allegedly he found her on a bus stop or something like that. So he was trolling the bus stops, and I think it's crazy.
But isn't that where he got the other girl? The survivor?
Yes.
Yeah, she was on her way to school, and he scooped her up. Yeah, and that made her go back to the house, and she was scared to she couldn't do anything, and he did whatever he did. But a lot of victims go back to their abusers. Look at domestic violence, right? How many times does, whether it's the male or the female who is the abuser, how many times have you seen someone go back and go back and go back and then go back again? And I'm talking about people who are getting their asses kicked.
Yeah.
Still go back. So it is so insidious, and it is so deep, right? That wound, when you have been underneath someone's abuse, whether it's emotional, mental, or physical, spiritual, whatever it is, it breaks a part of you, and it takes a person with a lot of resolve who really is fed up with being abused to get out of that situation. And we see it, and it's never going to happen until that person is ready to do it. You see it all the time. Or they go from one abusive relationship to another abusive relationship. It's like you just got done getting your ass kicked, and now you're going to a new person to get your ass kicked. I'm really confused. But it happens all of the time. All of the time.
Yes. Right. I think we've all witnessed it, either from afar or up close and personal. And it is really weird to think about a person going back, but a lot of times these people feel like, this is it. Like, I can't do any better. Maybe I'm not the cutest out there, or whatever it is that is in self that is keeping them there. And it's really heartbreaking because, I don't know if we've tried to get people out of situations. And like you said, they won't go. They won't go until they're ready to go. And chances are they will break off a relationship with you to
100%.
continue to get beat up.
Exactly. And we have to just look at who she was surrounded by. She protected her brother.
Yes.
It's alleged that she was abused. I don't know if it was by her brother, but it was by someone. She's also alleged to have abused someone in Young Money. I don't know if his name was Lil Twist or
Yes.
something like that. She got with a teenager as well. So this is a pattern for her. And the fact that it explains why she's so okay with harassing this victim, because this is the culture that she's grown up in. And so in her mind, it's just normal. And it's so complex because there's all of that stuff. There's misogyny. It's just a lot of layers to what's going on in this situation.
I agree. And then and to what you both said, I agree 100%. And I think she went from being a victim to being the perpetrator, which does happen a lot. There are a lot of people who have been victims as children, and they grow up to repeat that cycle. And then also to Khadi's point, I agree 100%. The abuser breaks down the person's self-esteem, and to where that person feels worthless. They feel they don't have value. They feel that they have no sense of self. And so they're getting any sense of self or any sense of value outside of themselves from their abuser. And so when somebody erodes your sense of self, if they gaslight you, if they call you crazy, no one will ever like you, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, whatever, blah, 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 you're broken down so much on that spiritual level, on that, soul level. That's why you say you have these people who are like broken in that sense, because they no longer have a sense of self or a sense of worthiness, that they don't even think they deserve to be treated well or to be loved or to be respected. And that's why you really have to keep up your self-love, your self-concept, your self-worth, your affirmations. You have to be diligent about knowing that you are your first and best priority, and your well-being matters, and to put yourself first no matter what, or else you will be a target for these type of people to come in and abuse you, essentially.
Yeah. A lot of times too, the abuser will take you away. They will pull you from your support system, move you out of the state, and then you no longer have anyone. No one, only that person. And then it may even be a financial situation as well. They may be like, hey, if I leave, then I'm essentially like destitute. I'm in this state I don't know. I have nowhere to go, and I can't even make it back to my family. And I don't want to tell them about it because of the shame of telling them.
Yeah,
it's a very vicious cycle.
Reparations Act was Minaj first and Jen. No, it was Jen, because he had actually served the time and then started dating Nicki Minaj once he was released from prison. So he could not stay away from little girls for some reason. And then Ibarashid said Nicki made a R song with Little Twist. It was disgusting. They took it down. He was 16 at the time.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a child. 16 is still a kid. That's not an adult. That's a kid. That's a child.
Exactly.
And it's interesting that she got away with that, right? Because she was powerful.
Yeah.
Now, okay. Nicki got away with that song, that everything with Little Twist. But the moment she had something to say about the panorama, they came for her. So that's very, very interesting. And it tells you a lot about how victims are not protected. And I don't know about everywhere, but at least in this country, it tells you a lot.
Yes, and that. Oh, go ahead, Candy.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, to piggyback off that, it's indicative of how our society picks and chooses who is a victim, right? So if it's a 16-year-old Black child, oh no, he's a man, whatever, it's a joke, it's a song, da 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 da. But you're right when you talk about the panorama. Oh, they're all up in arms. It's a social cause, social issue. Think about what's going on right now. That Gabby Peppertito girl, she's like 22, 21. Condolences to her family. So sad. But look at how much coverage she got. I couldn't scroll through my Instagram feed without seeing her face. I couldn't go on YouTube without seeing ads for her. I couldn't do it. She was everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. She literally is the poster child for victim. Young, white, blonde, right? But then how many other people out here are missing? They don't know where they are. You know what I mean? How many minority children? How many young Black girls? That his name escapes me. I don't mean, and I feel bad not remembering his name. But he had been missing during the same exact time. He got no coverage, and then they ended up finding his body in the river. And the mom came out, and she was just like, I feel for her, Gabby's family. I'm not taking away from their pain, but what about our pain? And I think that's what it shows you is our society, and I don't mean Black, I mean our society, America, picks and chooses who gets to be a victim, what we care about, and why, and in what order. And I think it shows that. I think it would have been very, very different if it was like R. Kelly with a 16-year-old Taylor Swift writing a song like that. I think the reaction would have been very, very different. But because it was Nicki Minaj with a 16-year-old Black rapper, poof, whatever, no big deal. I think it would have been very, very different if it was an R. Kelly type person with a Taylor Swift. It would have been a very different conversation. And it wouldn't have taken how many decades to finally get R. Kelly where he needs to be. Because who was he targeting?
Young girls for like
young Black girls.
40.
So that's why he got away with it for so long.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. I talk about it a lot that the difference in the way that this country treats us versus how it treats white people. And I'm not shocked about it. I'm shocked that people are actually shocked about it because of the history of this country. And people seem to think that we have come a long way, but I don't think that we've actually moved anywhere. I think that it is a facade that has been put on like smoke and mirrors. Nothing has actually changed.
Exactly. And this goes to a topic that I've talked about months ago on my channel. With us, especially Black children, they age us up further than our counterparts. With Black women, we don't feel as much pain as our counterparts do. So it all plays a part in that. And that may be something we talk about on another show because it's very. It's yes. I do have a
lot to go into on that.
Yes, I do want to read some of these comments. Callie said the media controls most people's minds and their sense of right and wrong.
And I know that we've been talking a lot about that. I usually call them sheep because a lot of people are sheep, but I guess the professional term is group think and mind and all of that, but I like my sheep because it's accurate. But that's basically they slant everything and they tell you how to think, and people actually believe that they are thinking for themselves and that they're individuals, not realizing that you're being fed a direction to move in.
Right. And hey, Woo Child, I know I put her comment up, or his or her.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Sumai.
But
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh yes. But I wanted to go to, because I know we talked about this for a little bit. We were going to talk about young women dating older men, but I actually do want to touch on what Ibadashi said, the Kelly Price situation. Okay. So this was this was a very interesting situation. So she was missing for the past month, or she was not in contact with her family for the past month. Just this past week, her sister started looking for her I'm so confused by this story because there's so many different things. Nikki Gilbert came out and said she was helping the daughter to find her. The brat came out and said the people that know her and love her know where she is. And then she actually spoke out about her situation as well and said she was never missing. So what are your thoughts on that? I'm about to make me another drink. I shouldn't be making another one.
No, make it. It helps with the throat. Coat your throat.
Yes. But what are y'all thoughts on that?
I talked about this briefly when I made my video when I was back from New York. People like wanted to talk about Kelly Price because it had just popped off. And the story sounded really, really weird and all over the place to me. Like, it didn't make much sense. They were like, she's missing from the hospital. She checked herself out, but she was on a ventilator. And then she's in long-term care. And it was just a whole bunch of just varying degrees of like, doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I did watch the interview. Well, not really the interview, but Kelly Price when she spoke out and talked about how she got sick, how she wasn't recovering at home, and she went into the hospital, and that was about a week. And right before she went in, her husband, who we all thought was like her boyfriend,
right?
He ended up getting sick, and so she actually had flatlined, and the hospital brought her back. And what she said that she went home, right, to recover, but they had like her on a breathing apparatus or whatever. But she couldn't get any rest because all the people kept showing up at her door, ringing her doorbell at all hours of the night and leaving her stuff. So that's when she went into like hiding. I don't know, like really, but she said she shut down all her social media. She left the house, and she doesn't understand why her sister put out there that she was missing because one, she hadn't seen her sister in a year since I think it was her mom's funeral, but they don't speak. So it's not uncommon for them to not see each other. So she doesn't understand why her sister put out this narrative.
You know, well, I didn't really follow the Kelly Price story that much. I just sort of saw the headlines. She's okay and all this stuff. And she was like a surprise husband and things like that. Mm-hmm. But just listening to that, I don't believe Kelly Price because the story doesn't track. Make it make sense, right? Like the story does not track. If you are saying that you haven't talked to your sister for a year and you don't talk, how did your sister know you were missing in the first place to report you missing? If I don't talk to someone for a year and I just know we don't talk, if this person falls off the face of the earth, how do I know they've fallen off the face of the earth? So that right there doesn't make any sense. Your sister was in some type of contact with you or your mother or somebody in your family where she knew that you had gone missing. That to me is not someone I've been estranged with. Oh, you said the mother died or something? I'm sorry, the mother died. But
yes,
sorry about that. That to me does not make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe you, Kelly Price. And also, if you're sick, I'm sorry you're sick, get better. And if you're going to go and be a recluse, you tell people. You say, hey, friends, family, whatever, I'm sick. I need to recuperate. Things are too heavy here. This is my contact in case of emergency. I need to go here and do this, that, and the third. People don't go missing unless something shady has happened for that long period of time.
Say that her children knew that, her children knew she was fine and she went away. Look.
But then how come her children didn't come out and say something? Like this doesn't
her youngest daughter, for some reason, okay, this is so crazy. For some reason, her youngest daughter was like originally co-signing with her aunt Kelly's sister. And then later on, she decided to come clean and say, no, my mom is safe. I know where she is.
That part was weird.
See, something there's a fly in the milk.
Yeah.
Like something is not adding up.
Yeah. And I understand Kelly Price came out, but when she saw all these headlines going, or maybe she was just too sick to respond. But it's like you come out now when all these other people have come out, something just isn't adding up about the story. And
the story is fishy. It doesn't make sense. I'm a logical person. Yeah. I love a good conspiracy theory now. I can go on all day about a conspiracy theory. But this just smells fishy. Doesn't make sense. Kelly Price, what were you doing? Where were you at? I don't believe you were so sick off in a cabin in the woods. Kelly,
I will say this.
What were you doing, Kelly? What were you doing, Kelly?
I will say, apparently her husband, sometime, I think it was earlier this year, was arrested for DV. Domestic.
Oh, yes. Was she on the lam from him? Was she running away from him?
I don't know who it was that was on the receiving end of that.
Wow.
Oh, see, I gotta check my sexism.
Well, I don't know if she was involved.
My own unconscious bias, because when you said that, I immediately went, "Oh, she was the victim." See?
Well, I don't know that she was involved at all. I don't know who the other party was, because it doesn't necessarily have to be him and her, because domestic can also be somebody in the family.
Okay.
He was fighting Shantae Moore.
Oh no, not that.
The husband is sketchy, because they were saying it was her boyfriend, and then Larry Reed put it out there. Larry Reed Live, I watch him. He's like he's a pastor or a preacher, but he does like religious scandals. But he put it out there that they were married, because at first they were referring to him in the news as her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. So the sister somebody provided the marriage license to him, and that's when we found out that it was her husband. Actually, they were secretly married, according to.
See,
yeah. Yes, I totally said this whole thing didn't add up when everybody wanted to talk about it, because I was like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. I don't know. First of all, I don't know anybody who is currently on a ventilator who managed to check themselves out of the hospital. I don't know what magic trick that was.
Doesn't make sense. And how long was she missing for? I don't care if I'm a month. I mean,
August.
I'm calling BS all over the place. A, she was actually missing for a month, and then B, how long was she in the headlines for the news, for the headline news? Like a week or so?
Just a week. And they were talking about how with Black women, they don't advertise us missing. And so it was a whole thing on that. She tried to blame it on the blogs, taking it or making it way worse than what it was. That's why I said the story is just fishy.
It's fishy. Kelly Price needed a moment.
There go my kiddo. My kiddo is trolling us.
No.
Jamal Bryant.
Jamal Bryant, old Kelly.
But
he said DV, not VD.
Where did you see VD at? Did I miss something?
No, because I said DV.
No, she said DV.
Jamal Bryant.
She said Jamal Bryant. And so we said DV, not VD.
The shade.
I mean, somebody has a hot box.
I'm saying apparently the box is hot, right?
The box is hot.
Yes, hot and sing sing. Yes, as Miss Karen would say, it's hot and sing sing. So.
Oh, it's hot and sing sing. Somebody got a hot box.
Oh no, she spent 3 hours in that pool that day. I'm just saying.
Right. That's what they sure did. But no.
The box is hot.
Going back to going back to Larry, going back to Kelly. She allegedly, well, I'm not gonna say allegedly. I think she put it out there. She had COVID since July, I think. So after she announced that she had COVID, she was disappeared after that. But it was a month. I don't know. The whole story is just so weird.
So we're
Marcella.
Hey, Marcella.
Oh,
not microwavable cooch. Oh,
like a hot pocket. Oh my god.
it's like popcorn.
Oh no! I hope it don't look like that.
Since July 29th. That's how long she's been
Oh
sick.
my god. I never want to say people are not being honest, but I do think some people say they have C19 when they don't, either to get out of doing something or as a front for something. I'm not saying she didn't have it. Like maybe she has the receipts and was in the hospital, but I just sometimes when things are fishy like this, it's really easy to be like, oh, I had C19. Not my fault.
Something totally is not right about that. I don't know what it is, but the dots are not all connecting.
Well, I'm going to go back to Annette Hughes. She said, it's that sister. She wanted to be left alone. Why haven't anyone heard from her son? Leave the woman alone. I was discharged from the hospital with a portable ventilator.
Yeah, there's a portable ventilator, but if she was unconscious and had flatlined.
Yeah.
Hey, all about the trees. Shout out to her. She got to 1,000 right before me. So yes, shout out to all about the trees. But yes.
Hey, Marcella.
But the story is just crazy. Oh, and like the Queen of Juice said, so COVID-19 for 2 months.
2 months,
we don't know what.
It's like Erica Girardi, Tom Girardi's story.
And the thing
he
is,
flipped the car 5 times, broke his ankle, was unconscious for 12 hours. Then there was a burglar. He got punched in the eye. My son came over there. He flipped 5 times too in the snow in California.
She has some other issues though that she said that were going on. I don't know if they were going on before COVID, but some pre-existing conditions that were made worse because of COVID.
Yeah. I had a cousin who was obese and she passed from it. So she was in the hospital for a very long time because of it. So yes.
Didn't she claim? She did say she died too.
Twice?
I didn't hear her say twice.
I heard her say once though.
Yeah, I heard her say she flatlined.
Let me not. I can't be laughing at that. You guys stop. Like, you're like, well, she didn't flatline twice. I think she just died the one time.
And All About the Tree says she loves Candy Washington. I'm a nurse, and Kevin's story is fishy.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Erica is
yeah, that story. I thought that Tom Girardi was probably the most superhuman, like 80-something-year-old man alive.
Don't operate. Just leave him.
Yeah, and I was like, how did he manage to not get nothing? I got hit by a drunk driver some years ago, and I got a permanent scar right here.
Oh,
sorry.
Wow. Oh, thank you.
Sunny's comment. Shout out to Sunny. Don't tell the people did Brat go off on her sister. No, she went off on Nicki Gilbert. That's what everybody is saying.
Who's Nicki Gilbert?
She used to be a part of Brownstone. She was on R&B Divas I'm an R&B fan, so I know Nicki Gilbert. She was on R&B Divas with Kelly Price and I forgot her name. I hate that I forgot the other lady's name that read Nicki Gilbert for filth. So Debonair says the quote, the read. That is hilarious. But yeah, they were on R&B Divas together with Kiki Wyatt, Kelly Price, Nicki Gilbert, Angie Stone, and I forgot the lady that sings on Kanye West song All Falls Down. What's her name? She was a protege kind of R. Kelly. She's from Chicago.
You about Selena?
Yes, Selena Johnson read Nicki Gilbert for filth on that show. So if you ever go on YouTube, look that up.
I will. I love a good read. Love.
Right. Yeah, I didn't watch the show. I seen that read. Was you talking about her gums or something?
No, excuse my cousin. Nikki called her a bitch, and she was like, "Yes, I am that bitch." So like, she went off.
That's a girl after my own heart.
Because you can't pull yourself up like me.
Exactly. Like, oh wait, what did you say?
It was a real like read, like a Nene read, because I love Nene.
Good. I like Nene too.
Me too.
So yes. Oh, and Nikki Gilbert, she can sing. They all can sing on the show. Selena Johnson, yes, they said it already. Somebody said, was she on Sister Circle? What?
Not
Sister Circle. No, what?
Quad
Was on there, and
Quad and
one of
two
the
people had no idea who they
Selena
were.
Johnson was on Sister Circle. I think she was. Selena Johnson was. She was on Sister Circle. That didn't last that long.
Well, it's not the ladies' lounge, so
This was a part of the read. Black A gums and not A.
That's how I know she talked about her gums.
not black girl.
Yeah, she went off.
Smoking cigarettes, so her gums was like. Because I seen a clip of it on YouTube, but I didn't watch the show.
All About the Truth said Nikki and Kelly was so toxic on that show. They were. Kelly, that's when I found out Kelly's attitude was like really bad. And so it, like when Nikki came out recently with her talking to Kelly, I believed it because they were the most toxic on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, so Debonair says check my TikTok.
TikTok.
He did the read. Selena's read was epic. R&BD was yes.
I will say I felt sorry for Kelly Price because clearly she did have like the panorama.
Got it.
And she still like had it in her lungs and was coughing, and she was crying about the fact that she doesn't know when or if she'll be concert ready. And she has a beautiful voice.
And
no, that is scary.
I want to say thank you. Well, what are y'all final thoughts? We have like 3 minutes left. Was this going to be an hour show, or we didn't even discuss that? It's an hour.
I don't know. Let it
It's all good.
I don't have a voice. When I have a voice.
We can cut this one
We
out.
can cut it off. It's the kickoff one. We'll be back next Tuesday doing the
Yes. So what are y'all final thoughts on everything that we talked about today?
I'm gonna start backwards. On the Kelly Price situation, I want to say honestly, something in that situation is not adding up. I don't know what it is, but it's just not adding up. So I'm still giving it the side eye, but I've moved on from reporting it because I was just like, I don't know what the heck is going on. I'm so confused. The Nicki Minaj situation, I would say I never really liked Nicki when she first came out, and I didn't. She seems like a bully, that bully type. I don't like bullies. I know that me personally, like I can be blunt, but I don't actually go out of my way to hurt anybody or attack people. That's not my MO. And I don't like people who do that. And to go after someone who has been violated in a sexual nature is just horrible. And to think that a woman would do that to another woman, I just don't know.
Right.
I see Candy doing something.
Oh, sorry. I was talking to somebody in the chat.
It just threw me because I was like, what?
It was so cute.
I'm sorry. I was giving the person in the chat a kiss. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. And then the Karen Civil, I do think that there is evidence that she is a scammer. I don't know if she scammed everyone out of money, but she totally admitted, and this is what I'm saying, she admitted to hiring a hacker to do some illegal acts. And that we know because she admitted it. So.
Okay, my final thoughts. I'll go front to back, I guess. So Karen Civil, I do think she probably did some fraudulent stuff. I mean, she's already admitted to the Jason Lee thing, but Jason also admitted that he has done similar things himself. I think that because it's coming from Jason Lee, it's almost the message is muddled because he's a shady character himself.
Yeah,
I think he is I think he feels like somehow the world owes him something. And I feel like that's kind of Jason's energy. I think it's really weird and a little whack that he pretended to make nice with her for those years. And then now all of a sudden he's bringing up something that happened 3-4 years ago and now trying to bring a lawsuit. That's a little whack to me. However, I do believe where there's smoke, there's fire. I think that she has protected people with money. And in turn, she's probably scammed people who don't have the same clout and has been protected because she has the umbrella protection of like the Dre's and the Nickies and the Meeks and the Waynes and all that stuff. I don't think that she's on the up and up. That's my opinion. Does she need to go to jail? I don't know. Does she need to pay some people back? Probably. When it comes to what was after that? Nicki Minaj. So then when it comes to Nicki Minaj, she needs to go to jail because you don't intimidate a person who has been the victim of the R word and you victimize them, you re-abuse them, you re-traumatize them. It's disgusting to me. She needs to go to prison, and a part of her being in jail, I think she needs to work with survivors of the R word who have the cognizance to know that what happened to them was wrong, because Nicki does not have that awareness. I think her husband needs to go to jail for what he's done to women. I think her brother needs to stay in jail.
Yes.
Barbs, don't come at me. You're
Right.
Nicki Minaj. You can't defend this, no matter how you look at it. Don't come at me, Barbs. I think when it comes to Kelly Price, throw the baby with the bathwater. I think they're all lying. I think Kelly's lying. I think the husband is lying. I think the sister is lying. And the daughter already admitted she lied. I think they're all lying. I think something else fishy is going on. I think that there's half-truths being told. Sure, she was sick. Sure, she was in the hospital. But this whole, like, I had to go away. Who was bothering you, Kelly? I'm confused. Like, do you have barbs? I don't know. Who was bothering you? I think they're all lying. I think they're all covering something up and using half-truths to cover it. And then I will end with believe all victims, protect all children. Black children, white children, yellow children, red children, all of them. Protect children, believe victims. Stand up for yourself, have high self-esteem, and don't take any crap.
Right. Thank you, Candy.
Yes.
My thoughts are going to be short and sweet because my voice is like definitely gone. I agree with All About the Trees as it relates to Karen Civil. If they're willing to admit those things, imagine what they've done that they won't admit to. So
exactly.
Yes. So that's my thoughts on Karen Civil. As for Nicki Minaj, she's wrong. I echo both of you guys' thoughts. So I'm going to end it there with that. I agree with both Khadi B and Candy Washington. We will do this again. It will be a rotating panel. I hope you enjoy the Ladies Lounge next week. Follow us on Khadi B's channel. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment as well to the Candy Shop, Khadi B and Candy Washington. Again, this is the Ladies Lounge. I hope you all have a good night. I'm going to sign us off with our little theme song, and that's it.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us.